Hello, welcome to Wig Rescue. So today we're going to be rescuing this amazing long blonde curly wig. It was actually, believe it or not, genuinely stunning when I first bought it. I bought it for a Sleeping Beauty cosplay. It's probably about a meter long. It's very, very thick and it's got a lot of layers in it. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is just assessing it. I managed to get a bit of a hoover in here from one of those little robot things that are on the floor. It's definitely very bedraggled, very frizzy, and has a lot of knots in it. Doesn't necessarily look that bad if you squint and punch yourself unconscious in the face. But as you can see, it needs work. So the first thing we're going to do is put it on a wig head and take all of the bobby pins out. The amount of bobby pins in here is, quite frankly, illogical and illegal. There's about 30, and at some point I end up actually just chucking the nice neat pile on the floor, which is great. Unveiling this big sponge that I put in so that I could have a sort of half up down look. I don't really know what I was thinking with that. It did work when I first styled it, but it's just fallen apart. And taking out the ribbon as well at some point. This was styled maybe 5 years ago, and believe it or not, I was actually quite proud of it when I styled it. I'm being very harsh on myself, but it genuinely did look quite nice. That is a part of a hoover that had just gotten into the wig. I think it fell on the floor and the hoover decided to attack it, which is fair enough. I would too if I was a hoover. I clearly take really good care of my wigs, so I'm just working through all of the pieces here with my fingers, and it needs to be washed now. So let's go wash that in the bath. Once all of those pieces were out, it didn't actually look that bad, but it definitely needs a wash anyway. So don't ask me why the bathtub's so big. It's a whole story. With the water temperature here, you just use whatever's comfortable with your hands. It doesn't need to be too hot or too cold. I would say that if you want to keep the wig curls intact, like you're not planning on crimping it like I am, and you're just washing it, keep it cooler because heat tends to bend the plastic fibres of the wig. I'm using argan oil shampoo. This I got from the Poundland. Guess how much it was? Crazy. Putting loads on here. It's a very, very thick wig. I don't know if you're supposed to use wig shampoo for it, but I've never used wig shampoo. I've only ever used my own normal shampoo. I find that the oil that comes in this shampoo really helps to defrizz and moisturise the wig itself, which just helps it become less frizzy. It also smells really, really nice, and it's very nice to work with on the hands. Focus the shampoo or whatever wig soap you're using on the wig cap itself. This part is touching your hair, so all of the oils and bacteria from your hair are going to get onto this, and you really, really want to make sure that it's clean to put on your head, stops you getting rashes and prevents scratchiness and irritation. Now, as you could probably see, I've been working from the top all the way down the bottom. I've not been scrunching it, I'm not messing it up, I'm just dabbing out all of the water, pat, 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 and working down the lengths and not scrunching it up like you might do with your own hair. This was one wash. Look how much dirt came out. Disgusting. You could go and wash it again if you wanted to. I'm just rinsing out all of the product here, again squeezing, working from the top, the roots to the bottom, making sure it's all out, and then leaving this leave-in conditioner all over the wig to make sure that it's nice and deeply conditioned. This really helps with flyaways. This was back when I had hair probably as long as this wig, believe it or not, and I would wash my hair and moisturize and condition the absolute crap out of it, probably about once a week. So I have loads of these products left over. Be generous with your products. It's all going to be washed out anyway. I pushed all of this product in all throughout the lengths, and then I let it sit probably for about 2 hours before I rinsed it out. So I'm just washing it out now, saturating it with water, and then again when I rinse it out, I'm going from the roots, making sure that everything is out of the root cap. So, not the root cap, the wig cap, sorry. If the rest of your wig still has product in it, it's not as bad. But as I said earlier, the wig cap is what touches your head. So you want to make sure that there's no product to relieve irritation. I'm using the mane and tail detangler. If you know, you know, this stuff is amazing. I bought about 12 bottles of it. I probably went through half a bottle with this wig, probably more. It's a massive, massive wig. Look at all the hair. saturate the entire thing, probably until it's wet, and then brushing it out with a very wide-toothed brush. You can use whatever type of brush you want, but something really, really strong because it takes a lot of effort to brush all of this out. Spraying on more detangler when you need to. And I did this in hyperlapse and then sped it up 10 times. So it's probably about 15 good minutes of brushing, making sure that you're getting all the way down from the root, working from the bottom up. People with long hair will know. And this is what it looks like after it's been dried. I think I left it overnight just to air dry. Did not use any heat on this whatsoever. The only products I've used are what you've seen. I think it looks really nice right now. It looks a bit more natural because it's a bit frizzy. You've got the layers in there. It's right back to how a little bit more tangled than when I bought it the first time, a little bit worse for wear. And if you could deal with the frizz, you could leave it like this, but I really don't like the frizz. And I know that it's just going to get tangled. I could probably wear it once or twice and it would be right back to how it was beforehand, which you can see here. This is after I brushed it out, and all I did was put it on the wig cap and on the wig stand, sorry, and it's already become really, really tangled. So we're going to have to crimp it, unfortunately, which means that we're going to lose all of those curls, but you can always curl it back in if you want to later. So I'm just going to section it out and use this crimper. This is the babyliss crimper. I bought it for like £15 on Facebook Marketplace. You can buy whatever crimper you want. I've set it, I think, to setting 8. It goes up to 10. I think it was actually a lot lower than that because, oh, bless you, someone's just sneezed. I set it really, really low because I didn't want it to be crimped for styling, and I didn't want it to be super, super fluffy. I'm only crimping it so that it's easy to brush out. But if you crimp it at a higher rating, your crimps are going to be a lot more defined and a lot more fluffy. So as you can see, it's really not that fluffy or crimped, but adding a bit of that texture to it is going to help the layers separate from each other. It's going to give it volume, which is what stops it from getting really, really tangled and helps it to be brushed out regularly. I think I crimped each section twice and brushed it out in between. And I'm using this detangler spray when I need to, just saturating the whole thing, rolling it up in my hands, rubbing it through, brushing it, and then crimping it, and then brushing it again. This whole process does take a while. Each strand is probably about 4 to 5 minutes each. Probably conservative effort is about 2 or 3 if I'm really rushing. The longer pieces take a lot longer, obviously, because they're about 7 inches longer than the layers above. But the longer layers are a lot less dense. As you get higher up in the wig, it doesn't take as long because the layers are actually shorter, but it's a lot thicker. So it's probably taking me just as long. And as you can see slowly throughout the day, it gets a lot darker. I took about 2, maybe even 3 days just crimping this solidly for about 8 hours to 10 hours each day in sections. And it takes ages. As I said, I have filmed this in hyperlapse and I've sped it up times 10 when I edited it. So it is probably about 30 hours of footage just here. And I didn't film all of it. I've cut out a lot of sections. So this is definitely a labour of love. But if you do this with all of your wigs, especially the long wigs, and you fear sometimes that you're losing all of those lovely natural curls that they've designed in for you, you can always put them back in later. But it's definitely worth it. This helped so much with the wig. And then when you brush it out, it's less tangled, it will get less frizzy, less damaged over time, and you're a lot less likely to lose sections whilst you're brushing out the wig. So we're coming up to the end here and you will see the result now. It is really, really nice. All of those frizzies and those flyaways have gone. It still looks damp because it's got so much product in it. I did let it rest overnight. It still has that thickness. It still has all of the lovely texture and all of the lovely highlights and lowlights. It's just so much easier to brush out now. Sorry about my voice. I'm coming down with a bit of a cold. But as you can see, when I start brushing it out now, it's so easy to brush. I'm literally going from root to tip and there's no tangles. There's no tension. It's just beautiful to brush out. And that is what I would recommend, honestly. Makes it a lot easier to style. And here it is on. Oop, jump scare. So I did this for my Greek LARP outfit. The character is a seer who was killed by someone blinded them with hot coals, so that's why I look a bit crazy. And I didn't have time to curl it before the event, but as you can see, it looks great. And I brushed it out recently and it took me about 2 minutes to brush it out. So thank you for watching. I hope this helps. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.